This might well be the nighttime prey of the strongest of all the Arabian predators, the Arabian leopard. Once spread all over the mountains of the peninsula, the Arabian leopard, or Nimr as it is called here, has now become a rare, critically endangered species. In Saudi Arabia, the Arabian leopard used to reign all over the Sarawat Mountains, crossing over the borders of Yemen in the south and Jordan in the north. That is a distance greater than 1,500 kilometers. Today, it is uncertain whether the species still counts breeding pairs within this range, or if it is only made up of occasional roamers. Indeed, the only kind of leopard we might find in Saudi Arabia is a dead one.
حقوق الحيوان والنبات ومخلوقات الله كما تحافظ على حقوق الإنسان. والأولى بنا يا المسلمين لا نحتاج مثل ما قال فضيلة الشيخ الذي لم يترك لي شيئا بعلمه وفصاحته.
To avoid the disappearance of the Arabian leopard from its territory, the Saudi Wildlife Authority has a long-term vision involving public awareness, field research, captive breeding and international cooperation. The Saudi Wildlife Authority mandated one of its field stations, the National Wildlife Research Centre, to implement the programme for the conservation of the Arabian leopard. Since the late 90s, the NWRC has been a sanctuary for the Arabian leopard, rescuing animals caught in the wild and welcoming those that have been donated. 10 years after the building of the first leopard breeding unit in 2004, the centre counts 5 units as well as 16 individual cages. A breeding unit is divided into 3 spaces separated by meshed sliding doors. Each unit accommodates 1 female and 1 male, who get accustomed to one another before being united. Mating then takes place as frequently as 70 times a day. Each unit is equipped with 16 cameras, all remotely controlled in a single monitoring room. The close surveillance of the breeding process permits the detection of the female's pregnancy. The male is then immediately removed from the breeding unit, leaving the female free to choose one among the 4 available dens where she will deliver her cubs after 3 months of gestation. Females bring up their cubs, generally between 1 and 3, on their own. Human intervention is avoided at first and then kept to a minimum to allow the weaning to take place undisturbed. After 3 months, cubs start eating meat by themselves. They soon become fully self-sufficient, and at around 1 year of age, they are separated from their mother to grow up in individual cages. When they reach the age of 4, they are ready to breed. Nowadays, NWRC has 10 Arabian leopards. The leopard captive breeding complex was planned to eventually include 12 breeding units as well as a veterinary facility. In exceptional cases, if they are disturbed, females might stop raising their offspring. The cubs should then be reared by humans. This was the case of Hams, a 5-year-old female which was hand-reared by Abdullah and who still recognises him as her caregiver. Abdullah's story with the Arabian leopard is a very special one.
I used to be a hunter. We have an area near Anlemas called Asheba. One day, I came down hunting in this area with my cousin, and we found out that one of our goats was missing. We talked to the shepherd, who was screaming and crying. He told us the goat was killed, so he put poison in the carcass. We saw that it was probably a wolf or a hyena. At that time it was the rainy season and difficult to go far into the mountains, so we waited the next day to go down to the site with my relatives. When we reached there, we were shocked to find 2 dead leopards. I took a picture of them. You found them dead? Yes, both of them.
Despite people being careful, Abdullah judged the matter too important and informed the relevant authorities. And that's how he took the wise decision to contact the Taif Wildlife Centre.
After that, I received a phone call from Prince Bandar. He asked me to join the field team and I said, "Okay, I'm ready." So we went down to the site of the kill with the team from Taif and collected the remains of the dead leopards. At that time they told me, "Now you're one of us." And that's how I started working with them.
اليوم ما شاء الله يمكن أصبحنا يمكن 6 أو 7 أشخاص. نتأمل إن شاء الله بالمستقبل القريب يتضاعف هذا العدد.
Today, Abdullah has become the head of the leopard field team, which has increased to 4 direct employees and 20 volunteers. The NWRC holds regular meetings to welcome the new recruits and organise seminars and workshops. Cooperation is maintained with neighbouring countries concerned with the preservation of the Arabian leopard. And every year, experts are invited from abroad to help the NWRC team in their specialised field. Experts from America, Georgia, South Africa and Spain have already shared their experience in field tracking, habitat modelling, genetic analysis, camera trapping and more generally in running similar projects.
I wish to give you 50 seconds. You need 50 seconds.
Situated near Taif, between the Hejaz Mountains in the north and the Asir Mountains in the south, the NWRC benefits from its proximity to the leopard's habitat. Abdullah is based near the city of Annemasse, at the very heart of Asir, where field work in searching for the Arabian leopard is of importance. Today, Abdullah meets his team in Wadi Ayla, about 2 hours southeast of Annemasse by car.
بعدها تبدأ المناقشة. شوف اللي عندك أبو ناصر ولا لا؟
Abdullah has set up an appointment with some young recruits to whom he is keen to explain the details of their new assignments in the field.
فالحين يروح الواحد يمشي يمكن إلى 10 كيلو إلى 12 كيلو.
We have to walk 10 to 12 kilometers to fix our camera traps. We start at 6 in the morning and come back around 6 in the evening. When we fix the camera, we have to remove the greenery that could move in front of the lens and trigger the camera. We have cameras fixed in the Sarawat, in Wadi Terj, Wadi Ayla, and wherever we can get comments from people. Thanks be to God, in all these areas there are evidences of the existence of ibex, gazelle, and the leopard. Camera traps can take both video and still shots. Firstly, you look for animal tracks. If you find tracks, then it's a good place to fix the camera. Be very careful of the small grasses and direct your camera to the north. Not east, not west. It could be south, but best is north. If it's difficult, then you can choose south. The problems for the camera are the sun, the shade, and the small grasses.
On his way back, Abdullah gathers information from a local shepherd.
حصلنا يعني عدة فرق بالنسبة للمجموعات. يمكن أنا حصلت قبل أسبوع كذا تقريبا 17 بالنسبة لمشاهدته هم شاهدوه ناس من جماعتنا يعني كبار في السن الحقيقة. شاهدوه قبل ممكن سنتين تقريبا.
ايوه.
في المنطقة هذه اللي فوق.
يعني شاهدوه واكدوا انه النمر.
والله اكدوا انه النمر.
At the end of the day, on the western side of the Asir Mountains, the proximity of the Red Sea brings evaporated water. When hitting the highlands, it becomes dense fog, which literally licks the mountainside, leaving moisture, which is good news for the vegetation. The morning dew also aids the sustainability of the green cover on the western side of Asir Mountains. The altitude around Annemasse reaches up to 2,700 metres, and temperatures are much cooler than on the Red Sea coast or in the desert plateau of the east. The combination of both water and mild temperature allows the spread of a large variety of plant species. Acacias, junipers, ficus and other trees share the landscape with a multitude of wild flowers. A great number of insects benefit directly from this diversity of plant life. Feeding from the flower's nectar, pollinators like honeybees, false green bottles and butterflies contribute to the natural cycle of the ecosystem. The African ringlet is a common species in Asir. The Arabian darkling beetle takes advantage from the rich soil, digging for larvae. The Yemen linnet is one of the many birds observed in the area. White-breasted white-eyes move fast between branches, while Tristram's grackles are often seen flying in groups or sitting on rocks. The Yemen agama is the most common lizard. It is found in different colours. Males are blue, sometimes with a yellow tail, while females sport a much duller garb. Today, Abdullah has planned to install a few cameras in the field, on the western mountainside down in Annemasse. Chosen sites for the cameras are remote from human activity, where the Arabian leopard is likely to circulate freely. Therefore, walking across the mountain usually takes a very long time. But Abdullah was born in these mountains and he is used to the terrain. A day trek can last 8 to 12 hours. For safety reasons and also to improve efficiency, fieldwork is always done in pairs. The two partners usually walk down to the site at sunrise and come back up at sunset. Arriving on the site and before setting up the camera trap, Abdullah fills in a field report in which all the details about the chosen site will be noted, with accurate GPS coordinates, of course. Between 2010 and 2014, 80 camera traps were set up at different locations of the Sarawat Mountains. They were moved from time to time according to research needs, but today the majority of them are concentrated in the Asia region in a perimeter of approximately 100 kilometres around Animas. The others are in areas closer to Taif. 100 more cameras have gradually been dispatched elsewhere since the end of 2014. When installation is complete and before leaving the site, Abdullah sprays some perfume around the trap, a strange tactic, but proven very effective in attracting the leopard. The Saudi Wildlife Authority is managing 16 protected areas in the kingdom. 2 of them are situated within the Sarawat range. The escarpment of Raida is near Abha, the main town in the Asia region. It is protected for its juniper forest and for being the home of several endemic birds, such as the olive pigeon. 2 among the 7 aloe species growing here are endemic. From above 1,500 metres to almost 2,800 metres, Raida covers a height of almost 1,300 metres within less than 10 kilometres square. A troop of wild Hamadryas baboons also live in the reserve. Farther north, close to Al-Baha city, is the Jebel Shada protected area. This mountain massif does not exceed 2,140 metres in height, but it is unique as it rises above the Tihama coastal plain, detached from the Sarawat Ridge by just a few hundred metres. This geological characteristic makes Jebel Shada the most diverse biotope of Saudi Arabia in terms of plant life, within less than 70 kilometres square. Almost 1/4 of all the species recorded in the kingdom can be found here, which means around 500 plant species. The scene of the hunted goat seen earlier was shot beneath the top of Jebel Shada. It was very likely killed by a leopard passing by during the night. To ensure the survival of the Arabian leopard in Saudi Arabia, the Saudi Wildlife Authority is planning to establish more protected areas within the range of Sarawat. Cameras in the field are checked as rarely as possible in order to leave the site undisturbed. However, from time to time, memory cards are replaced, and this is the moment to look at any new images. 5 years of camera trapping have been immensely useful to update the wildlife register of the Sarawat Mountains. around 500,000 pictures were shot showing the diversity of the local fauna. Photos of some species, like partridges and baboons, are unsurprisingly numerous, while hyenas and wolves are also well represented. But, most unexpectedly, cameras have confirmed the persistence in some areas of Arabian gazelles, which have not been confirmed in Asir since 2001. Unfortunately, up to now, no image of an Arabian leopard has been obtained, while its relative, the caracal, has been captured several times by the cameras. The success of breeding at the National Wildlife Research Centre ensures the survival of the leopard in captivity. This achievement guarantees a new hope for the Saudi Wildlife Authority, the possibility of future reintroduction programmes for the Arabian leopard. Meanwhile, if the natural prey of the leopard, such as ibex, gazelle, hyrax and porcupine, are protected from overhunting, a network of small protected areas connected with each other by corridors across the Sarawak Mountains could suit the leopard as well as the local populations. The leopard would then have free space to move in order to reoccupy the Sarawak in sustainable numbers. With enough prey in the wild, it would also be less likely to attack domestic animals. In turn, while decreasing the hunting pressure and developing protection of their livestock, people would benefit from the marvel of nature reconquering the wilderness. This would have a very positive impact on local tourism and all related activities. This is the key to the survival of the Arabian leopard in Saudi Arabia. For both humans and leopards to live alongside one another in mutual respect, as is expressed by Al-Khatal al-Kilabi, a famous poet from the beginning of the Umayyad time.
ولي صاحب في الغار هدك صاحبا هو الجون إلا أنه لا يعلل إذا ما التقينا كان جل حديثنا صمات وطرف كالمعابل أطحل تضمنت الأروى لنا بطعامنا كلانا له منها نصيب ومأكل فأغلبه في صنعة الزاد إنني أميط الأذى عنه ولا يتأمل وكانت لنا قلة بأرض مظلة شريعتنا لأينا جاء أول كلانا عدو لو يرى في عدوه محزا وكل في العداوة مجمل.
By combining the efforts of the people from local communities and the wildlife authorities, we look towards a future where there has to be hope for the Arabian leopard in Saudi Arabia.